JT Shaver here with New Layer, and I know you're excited for this one. When Aputure surprise announced the Amaran series of budget lights, a lot of people were saying they were perfect, or even going so far as to call them the end of Godox, but we'll see about that. In this video, I'll cover all the pros and cons of this light, and yes, there are some cons, as well as doing some comparisons with the Godox SL Mark II and VL series of lights, as well as with the Nanlite Forza 200. I did have some expectations for these lights coming from a company like Aputure, one of which is that they would come with a carrying case, but sadly they don't. Some budget brands do include a case, but sometimes it's kind of to make up for the quality of the light, and I'd rather have a better light with no case than an inferior light with a case. The main competition for these lights are the Godox SL Mark II and VL series of lights, and out of all of them, the VL series is the only one that includes a case. For those that care, the box does have a handle, and the foam inside is the kind that doesn't break apart easily, so you at least have that option. When it comes to build quality, the entire body of this light is actually made of plastic. The material quality is definitely above average, and with the way it's built, it does feel nice and sturdy and not flimsy at all. These lights use a single point mounting yoke instead of a U-bracket like some other lights. The U-shaped receiver on the bottom of the light is metal, and the handle is nice and big, so I haven't had any issues locking this in nicely, even with bigger modifiers. The one thing that I do wish they did with the handle is make it adjustable, so on some lights you can pull the handle out, rotate it, and then push it back in, and then adjust it from there. This one doesn't do that, and sometimes when I'm tightening it with my full grip, my hand actually gets caught between the handle and the body of the light. It's not a huge deal because the handle's nice and long, so it's easy enough to get a lot of leverage just with my fingertips, but I figured I'd mention it anyways. The umbrella mount is on the side of the yoke and uses a screw to tighten the umbrella style modifiers into place. Of course, brightness and color accuracy are probably the most important things, especially when it comes to lights on the budget end of the spectrum. I measured the 200D bare bulb from 1 meter with my Sekonic C800 and got the following results. This light is advertised as being 5600 Kelvin, and I got 5492 Kelvin, so it's only 108 Kelvin off, which is really good, and 5500 Kelvin is actually the daylight standard, so I prefer that over 5600 Kelvin anyways. It's a tiny difference and really doesn't matter from a practical standpoint. All you really need to know is that it's very close to its advertised color temperature. Aputure claims the brightness of the 200D to be 8200 lux from 1 meter, but they lied, because I actually got 9070 lux, so it's even brighter. That might seem like a huge difference, but it's actually less than 1/3 of a stop and gets you f8 at 1/50th of a second and ISO 100 from 1 meter. Going off the Aputure listed specs, the 200X, which is the bicolor version, is 1/3 to 2/3 stops dimmer than the 200D daylight version, depending on the color temperature that you're using. The 100D is about 1 full stop dimmer than the 200D, and the 100X is again 1/3 to 2/3 stops dimmer than the 100D. This also makes the Amaran 200D comparable in brightness to the 200 watt Godox lights, while the Nanlite Forza 200 is another 1/3 stop brighter. The Amaran 100D is between 1/3 and 2/3 stops dimmer than the 150 watt Godox lights, which isn't surprising given that it uses less power. When it comes to color accuracy, the 200D puts up some really fantastic numbers. I got a CRI of 94.9 and a TLCI of 97, with R9, R13, and R15 values of 93.2, 96.6, and 98.4, which are great and important for accurately rendering skin tones. I also got an SSI of 74 versus the daylight standard, which is on par with what you would expect from more expensive Aputure lights like the 120 and 300D. I got a color correction number of just 0.2 green, meaning this light has nearly no tint, and the tint that it does have is towards the magenta side. This is important because LEDs typically turn a little more green over time. Overall, the brightness and color accuracy are excellent, and you really can't ask for anything more. If you want to see all the measurements that I got for these lights, I'll have a link in the description to my light comparison tool, and that uses real-world measurements instead of manufacturer-provided specs. That way you can compare these lights with lights from other brands side by side. Fan noise has always been an issue, especially with budget lights, but I'm happy to say that the fans on these lights are nice and quiet. On top of that, the fan only turns on when it needs to, so if you're working at lower brightnesses, it might not ever come on at all. Of course, it depends on the ambient temperature where you're working and some other external factors, but I was able to run this light at 25% for at least 20 minutes without the fan ever coming on. I'll play samples of the fan noise from the 200D along with some Godox lights because that's what most people are familiar with, and that way you can see for yourself. I did boost the audio of all these clips the same just to make them easier to hear. Every fan has different frequencies, and the Godox SL Mark II series is slightly quieter, while the Amaran 200d and the VL series are essentially identical in fan noise. That's all good news because all of these lights are really quiet and should pose no problems when it comes to your audio. Something I'm really glad Aputure included with these lights is wireless control with the Sidus Link mobile app. These lights don't have DMX support, which is not surprising and totally expected, but if you do have a few of these lights, the Sidus Link app makes it really easy to control multiple units from one place. Aputure has one of the most cohesive remote control systems, while Godox has 5 lights with 3 different remotes, and only 2 of those support mobile control. Nanlite currently doesn't really have a good method of mobile control, but they are totally revamping their mobile app, so they're gonna have that in the future. Another consideration is special effects, because the Amaran lights don't have any built-in, whereas some other lights do. The Godox SL Mark II series and the Nanlite Forza 200 both have special effects, so if that's a deal breaker for you, just keep that in mind. One interesting thing about these lights is that although you can power them with batteries, they require a 48-volt power source. They're really made to be compatible with Aputure's new power station, which has yet to be released, but if you have another power station that has 48-volt output, you can power these lights as long as you have the right XLR cable. Most other lights that have battery power as an option use regular V-mount batteries, so just keep in mind that you won't be able to power these with your regular V-mount batteries. Another option that I've used for a long time is a more generic power station that has regular household outlets on it. The main downside to using these lights with a power station like that is that you would still have to use the AC adapter brick, whereas the Aputure power station would just be the power station with a single cord going directly into the light. The portable power station that I have is the TacLife P50, and it's been awesome. It not only runs COB lights, but I also recharge my RGB pocket lights or even my phone because it has a wireless charging dock on top. The P50 can power 300 continuous watts, so it's probably better used with the 100D or X because the 200D actually can use up to 250 watts at peak usage. There are higher capacity and more powerful power stations out there, and I am going to do a comparison video on a few of those, so if you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed. Apart from all that basic stuff, there are a few nice touches with the Amaran lights I wanted to mention. The control dial on the back has a good amount of resistance, making it really easy to dial in the brightness of the light, which you can do in increments of 1% from 1% to 100%. You can also single press the dial to jump between presets in increments of 20% brightness. The power cord that goes from the wall into the AC brick is the locking type, and the cord going from the power brick into the light is an XLR locking type. The first cord is too short in my opinion, because if you have the AC adapter brick hanging from the light or a light stand, you only have a few feet to work with from the power source. You could lay the AC brick on the ground and get a little extra reach, but even then you don't have much to work with. It does use a standard cord between the wall and the brick, so you can get an extra long one for like $10 if you need something like that. I do wish that the second cord had XLR connectors on both ends instead of being fully integrated on one end into the AC brick, because that way you can use different cords when you need different lengths. It also comes with a Velcro strap attached to the wall cord, which might seem insignificant, but it does help keep things nice and neat when you're on set or when you're packed up. So these lights don't have the power adapter built into the head unit, which has some trade-offs. You get a smaller head unit and optional battery power, but you just have to deal with more pieces when you're using wall power. The AC brick that comes with these does have a little loop and a wire that you can use to hang it from a light stand or a light, and it's not my favorite, but it is better than nothing. So are the Amaran lights now the best budget LED lights you can buy? The prices in order for the 100D, X, 200D, and X are $199, $249, $299 and $349. By comparison, the Godox SL150W Mark II is around $249 and the SL200W Mark II is around $305. The most important difference for me between the Amaran series and the Godox SL Mark II series of lights is that these have an external AC adapter and they have Sidus Link app control. When it comes to the Godox VL series, the VL150 is around $399 while the VL200 is around $499. The main thing here is that the Godox VL series does come with a carrying case, they use regular V-mount batteries, and they also support the Godox mobile app. Prices on the Godox lights have been fluctuating, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a permanent price drop, so make sure you do your homework before picking anything up. The Forza 200 beats the Amaran lights in some categories, but it's also twice the price. It is kind of a different beast altogether, but I hope the comparisons in this video to that light were still helpful. With all that said, calling the Amaran lights the obvious winner isn't as clear-cut as it might seem, because there are things that other lights do that these don't. For the target audience of YouTubers and other solo creators, I think the cost-saving measures that Aputure took with these lights give it a great balance of quality and features for the price. Overall, unless the Amaran lights are specifically missing a feature that you need, you can't go wrong, and they've definitely made my list of top budget LED lights. Before you go, leave a comment and let me know if you think that ironically, the Amaran lights might now be a Godox killer. I'll have links in the description to everything I mentioned in this video, and don't forget that you can compare these lights to any other brand of lights using my comparison tool. That's it for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.